Broadcasting from parts unknown USA, it's the many moods of Ben Vaughn.
All right, we are back, and we're going to hear a record by Freddy Boom Boom Cannon right now. One of the greatest rock and rollers of all time. He had a bunch of hits: Tallahassee Lassie, Palisades Park, Way Down Yonder in New Orleans, Action, and he was on Dick Clark a lot of times. And he's still out there, still working. I just saw him perform about 3 months ago. He sat in with a punk band, a punk band in Burbank, and he did 3 songs, and that's all it took. He had that place going. The minute he got up there, it was on. And he laid into it, and wow. And I'm not even going to check to see how old he is, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter when it comes to Freddy Cannon. He is a force of nature, a true rock and roll force of nature. But he got real serious at one point, and he said, if we could just be quiet for 1 second, I want to perform a song co-written with my mother. And I know that she's up there right now smiling down on us. So here we go. And then he kicked into Tallahassee Lassie. It was great. It was really, really great. And I think he holds the record for being able to go back and forth between singing and saying, woo, back and forth more than anyone in the history of rock and roll. And the first time I saw Freddy Cannon was in Philadelphia at an outdoor rock and roll revival show, and he had a backup band. It was the Dovells backup band, and they were more of an Atlantic City lounge band than they were a rock and roll band. And Freddy got up there and started singing, and about midway through the first song, he realized, wow, this is not making it. So he asked the audience if it was okay if he taught the band how to play rock and roll the right way. And the audience went nuts and said, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. So he did. He started with the drummer. He told the drummer, just play the beat, nothing else. And don't do any fills, don't do anything. Just play the beat. And then he turned to the bass player and said, just play the root. And the bass player had 5 strings on his bass, which might have been the beginning of the problem in the first place. And then Freddie turned to the audience and said, what do you think? What do you think? And the audience gave him a sign of approval. So he continued on. He got the keyboard player to straighten things out and the guitar player to straighten things out. And the next thing you know, they were playing real rock and roll. And the audience picked up on that and went berserk. It was a great show. And Freddie has this intensity on stage, almost like a menacing kind of energy, except he's smiling the whole time, and he's really charismatic, but there is an edge to him, the way he uses the mic stand, the way he leans into it when he sings. It's phenomenal. Freddy Cannon. And during that rock and roll revival show, for some reason, he started singing 20th Century Fox by the Doors, which the band also didn't know, and the song had a whole different feel in the hands of Freddy Cannon, as you can imagine. And a friend of mine used to work on a Nashville Now TV show on TNN back in the 80s, and they had a house band on that show, a very slick Nashville session guy house band, very professional. And Freddy Cannon was a guest once, and my friend told me that Freddie did the same thing with them at rehearsal. He broke everything down and built it back up until they sounded basically like a garage band. Freddy Cannon, a true believer in rock and roll. He really does believe in rock and roll. Okay, we're going to hear Freddy Cannon right now. This is not one of his hits. This is called Buzz Buzz a Diddle It, and I think it's from 1959, and it features Kenny Paulson on guitar. Here's Freddy Boom Boom Cannon.